There are around 6,000 people in the world today who owe their lives to Nicholas Winton. They are the descendants of a group of refugee children rescued by him from the Nazi threat in 1939. Some of them know of his existence and the part he played in their history. Many others do not. It was a short event in his life, 9 months in 1939, but a critical one for those whose lives were saved, because he became embroiled in a race against time to rescue endangered children from the onslaught of the Nazi invaders in Czechoslovakia. For him, that intervention was over in a flash, and other adventures supplanted it. Only much later did this episode re-emerge in his life, bringing him visitors from all over the world, anxious to learn his story. This short episode has come to define him in many eyes, though not in his. The only reason this story came to public attention 50 years later was due to the foresight of a fellow volunteer on the Enterprise, a Mr. W.M. Lowenson. At the end of the rescue operation, when war broke out and no further trains could be arranged, he compiled a scrapbook containing much of the material and correspondence related to their work, and presented it to my father as a memento of all they had accomplished. This scrapbook has been the catalyst for the propulsion of Nicholas Winton into the public domain since 1988, when it was first brought into the media spotlight. Many newspaper articles have since been written about this story. These tell of how my father cancelled a skiing holiday in the winter of 1938 to answer the call of a friend to fly to Prague and see what was happening there. This was after the Nazi annexation of the Czech Sudetenland in October 1938, which led to the influx of Czech Sudeten refugees into central Czechoslovakia. Seeing the plight of the refugees for himself, he set about finding a way to evacuate endangered children to the UK, and over the next 9 months, managed to rescue 669 children from what was, for most of the rest of their families, the fate of internment and murder in concentration camps. The articles have titled him the British Schindler, called him a hero, and asked questions about why he had the foresight and the moral urge to conduct such a rescue when many others did nothing. They asked why he kept the story secret for 50 years, suggesting it was his modesty that prevented him from mentioning his actions, even to his own wife and family. He has been awarded medals and honours because of it, some 60 to 70 years after the event. He is presented as a brave altruist who put himself in harm's way to single-handedly save a generation of Czech Jewish children. This story is not true. Well, it is true, but not entirely. A myth has developed since 1988, which has become the truth, as well as the defining episode of his life to many people.